Hello, my name is Nigel Donovan and welcome again to another of the concept sheets and concept conversations for my practice. Today's conversation is about be do have, and it's not a new idea. In fact, I got this idea when I was working with a bloke called Ross Holding about 10 years ago. He shared it with me and I've been using it effectively in coaching ever since. It's a really powerful and really simple way to think about goal setting. It's by no means a new idea. It's been around as long as contemplatives have been contemplating, but it's a really nice way of reframing our goal setting away from just pure SMART goals, the traditional specific, measurable, achievable, realistic time frame goals, to a much more to a way of setting goals that's much more friendly for your own personal well-being and your own personal long-term growth. So let's have a look at the idea. But before we get to the idea itself, I've got to understand the context in which we live. So a meritocracy, if you haven't heard the term before, means that we live in a society where the best and brightest reach the top. Alain de Botton had a book 15, 20 years ago now called Status Anxiety, and he really enunciated what this challenge was. But the idea is that if, just like Henry Ford says there, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right. And the idea is that anybody can achieve whatever they want if they just get their mindset right. If they just think and apply themselves properly, they can achieve any goal they like. It's a society in which the best and brightest reach the top, and the most people who apply themselves the most. So the perfect meritocracy is professional sport, where it is just based on your ability to run a football or jump high or hit a cricket ball. So the best get to the top, and the ones who don't make it, don't make it. And that's fair enough in professional sport. But life isn't a professional sport. Life is something we experience. Now, this is quite different to what it was maybe 150 years ago, where a much more structured class society. And if you were in lower or middle classes, you weren't expected to do anything momentous. I mean, if you were the baker's son, you married the butcher's daughter, and you got on with life. And it wasn't a big problem if you didn't become the prime minister. But now there's so much opportunity in the world, and this idea that anyone can achieve anything if they just apply themselves. You can go on Australian Idol and become a pop star. You can just keep going and you'll get everything you need if you just try hard enough. If you make the right strategic moves, you go to the right university, go to the right training, and you work hard, you can do it. And that puts a lot of pressure on people. Anything other than an awesome life is your fault. And of course, this is a myth too. The challenge of the meritocracy is it clearly is a myth. It is not a level playing field. A young person born in Arnhem Land today, yeah, they could become the Prime Minister of the country, but it's much, much easier if you grow up in the North Shore of Sydney and go to King's College. So the idea that it is a level playing field is in its own right a myth. But it's the context in which we live. And it's very goal-oriented, targeted. Make a goal, work towards that goal and achieve that goal. Make another goal, work towards that goal, achieve that goal. So for example, in the be do have conversation, most of us start with the have. We ask ourselves, what do we want to have? I want to have a degree. When I've got a degree, I'll assess my options. I want to have a house. I want to have a car. I want to have a family. I want a new flat screen TV. I want the new iPhone 10, 12, whatever happens to be at the moment. And when I get the new deck out the back of the house and we've got a nice entertaining area, I'll have some friends around, and then life will be great because I'll be able to relax at that point. I'll get a new job. I want to have that qualification. I want to have that title. I want to become a partner in this firm or whatever it happens to be. Our goals are our career goals and our personal goals are very future oriented about what you want to get and what you want to have. There's nothing in principle wrong with that, but that's the way it's up at the moment. So that's where most of us start. And then we go, okay, if I want to have all those things, we ask ourselves a very obvious question. What do I need to do to get them? Fair enough. Well, I need to study and train. I need to save up my money. I need to do several things at once. I need to answer the phone, look after a sick child. I need to invent something amazing like the new .com boom or whatever it happens to be. I've got to put up with the crap at work. I've got to play the strategic game. I can't raise my voice about something I don't agree with because I don't want to get in trouble for something. But if I do all this stuff and if I sacrifice my happiness and my well-being now and bust a boiler, then I'll be able to have the stuff I want to have and everything's good. And that's pretty much the way it works. So the cycle goes something like this. You start at the top left there. Whatever you've done in the past, you've already done stuff. You're sitting here listening to this, you've already done something in the world, right? And that's got you to the point you're at in this life right now, with whatever assets you've got, whatever family you've got, whatever situation you're in. It's a consequence of largely the stuff you've done, good, bad, or indifferent. So you have some stuff because you've done some stuff, right? And you've got some achievements and things to feel good about and proud about, some things you might be regretting or a bit embarrassed about. But all achievements are feelings and they're experiences and they pass. Right? So you get a new car which feels great because you've earned it, and then within a year or two it's no longer a new car, it's an old car, and you want the next one. So it's the stuff we want to have and aspire to. So we've got that stuff, it kind of fades and the enjoyment fades. You know, I've got the gold medal in this Olympics, I don't enjoy that for a month or two, but you know what, I'm going to have to refocus and gear up for next year or gear up for the next context or tournament. So then we raise our eyes and we go to the want and say, what's our next achievement going to be? What do we want? It's almost like we always want to want something because we're always chasing the feeling we get when we achieve something, that win feeling. Right? We're always going to be chasing that, seeking the next opportunity for that win or that marker of success. And so we've got to go and do some more stuff. And then you pile up more stuff to do. You end up having a bigger job with more responsibility. You put on more on your plate. We need 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids. They've got to be doing music and swimming and other sports, right? And we just keep piling it all up and making sacrifices and compromises along the way. And that's, you know, there's nothing that wrong with any of this. It's just that it's not now. None of this is occurring now. It's all in the future or in the past. It's the stuff you have done or already have. You already have the house or the family you've currently got, right? It's the family or the house that you want, that you haven't got yet. The stuff you've got to do that you haven't done yet. It's all in the future or the past. And it always just keeps going and going and going. None of it is in this moment where we are right now having this conversation. It ends up feeling like you're walking up and down an escalator, right? And it becomes incredibly tiring. And at the end of the day, you look around and go, well, what's all this stuff worth? Has all those hours in the office been really worth that screen TV or that house or that boat? And what have I missed out on in life as a consequence of that? How much of a prick have I been to get this stuff? And then what's worse, to add insult to injury, in a meritocracy, you get the blame and guilt when stuff isn't as good as the lifestyle magazines say it should be. Right? If your life is chaotic, then failure is your fault, because in a meritocracy, it just means that you haven't tried hard enough, and a non-awesome life is your fault, which is insidious, I think. So what if we tried something else? What if instead of focusing on just purely on our SMART goals and then backtracking to our strategic priorities to get to those goals, which is what we do in a corporate environment, there's nothing wrong with that per se, and we go to, okay, what are we here for? How do we want to be? How do we want to experience the world? How do I, as a human being, want to engage and want to feel more of the time? What is my best way of being that I can focus on? And so if we focus on our way of being, we get a very different answer to the focus on what we want to have. So I want to be a person like this as much as I can. I want to be curious and open. I want to be accepting and loving. I want to be compassionate. I want to be authentic. I want to be proactive. There's a whole range of things I'd like to be like. And the nice thing is, I can be those things and apply and contribute my energy to wherever I want to do. So I can still contribute according to my capacity, my situation, and my interests. Whatever I'm good at, I'll just participate and show up in that space. I can still be all those things on the left column. I can still do all the stuff I need to do and apply my energy to the world. How good's that, right? And as a consequence of doing some stuff, I'm going to have some things. I'm going to have, there's going to be a reward for that in some way or shape or form. And whatever comes from that is going to be a joy to experience. It's not the driver of my energy, but it's a happy outcome from that energy. So my focus is on how applying my energy towards being more the way I want to be and doing what I'm good at doing or what I enjoy doing. And then as a consequence of that, I will end up with some stuff. The difference here is that the path and the goal are now the same thing. the path, every moment of the day, you're walking along a path that says, I'm going to be more like this. And that's invigorating. And this is the shift that I'd like us to focus on. So focus less on, set our goals, absolutely. Set our career goals and personal goals, things we want to achieve, and work out how to strategize to get there. But really we want to focus on how we are as a human being, how we apply our energies. Let's look at this column. Which way would you rather be? Well, these are some avoidant behaviours and some approach behaviours. And I don't know about you, but I feel better when I'm doing the right-hand column, when I'm flexible, when I'm nuanced, when I'm open-minded and fair-minded and curious. That's my happiest and my most enjoyable experiences. When I'm narrow-minded and flexible, high judgment, they're not as fun. So if I want to be something, I'm going to be that right-hand column. But then ask the second question, and if you like, the more commercial question, materially commercial, whether that's in your career or in your business or whatever it is you're doing. Which of those columns is also the most likely to help you achieve success? In other words, the haves we're talking about, which of these two is most likely to help you achieve the haves? And I would argue that by and large, the approach column is also the most likely to help you achieve whatever you want to achieve. The more learning you are, the more flexible you are, the more focused on the big picture you are, the more likely you step in, the more likely you are to achieve the goals you want to achieve. And when you do achieve them, you achieve them with a satisfaction and a satiation that is really comforting and really enjoyable. So that's the be, do, have conversation. Focus less on the way you want to, what you want to have, set some goals, sure, but focus as much as you can on your way of being that builds towards those things. If you're in any of my coaching programs and on the different coaching boards that you've seen, you can go to these places and do some activities. So you can read up on the concept we just discussed on the Think Well program week 2 concept sheets and activities. You'll find it on the board. And you should also watch It's Always Now, a 6-minute YouTube by a compilation from a guy called Sam Harris, which is a really, really powerful way of driving home this be, do, have idea, at least in the context of being in the moment and just letting the future problems slide a little bit. Okay. Thank you for participating. I hope you enjoyed the be, do, have conversation. I hope it helps, and I hope you apply it to your day, in your week, in your life. And here's cheers. Thank you. I'm out.